Welcome. This is episode 67. Ooh, I almost dropped it. Everything. That would have been extremely detrimental. But welcome. It's episode 67. As a city, we've accomplished a lot, but we're not done yet. Let's talk about the world records that our citizens have set. Pretty good throw. Oh. And see, it's a good thing I have these note cards. They save me sometimes. They remembered me to turn on my light, and it's wonderful. The marvels of modern technology, such as index cards. Let's start things off right. Let's get our unveil the phone number. It's the same one every week. I'm still waiting for your calls. You can call in at, and let me play the jingle.
575-689-2606.
I love to hear that. It is music to my ears. This is a big show. I tell you, I knew before I even started researching this topic, Carlsbad is such a great city. There has to be a ton of world records set here. This has to be a very fruitful topic to dig into. It would be absurd to... What is that? Cave TV bug in the bottom corner? No, I'm sorry. We're not doing that. You can't... We gotta cut that out. I mean no disrespect. I'm just saying we're not doing a little, bug up in the corner and all this stuff. Yeah, I'll do what you ask. We'll announce that at the end of the show. I don't understand what you mean exactly by that, but we'll get on to it. I will not speak that way. I have such an advanced new setup. I am hoping to cut down on the time I spend crouching down and looking, but I still do kind of have to gaze down to take a view of the chat and see what people are saying, and I will not speak to Soy Teresa that way. What else is on my card before we get... As usual, I feel like a broken record. I say this every week, but we really do have a lot to get to this week, so I need to... Okay, I did that. Okay, one thing I wrote down that I don't want to forget to do. Let me turn this down because I don't know if this is creating a buzz. I feel like it could be. I didn't really explain this the first time we did this, but the band Throbbing Gristle. I once heard an interview. It was a snippet of an interview. It was on the Disinformation TV show DVD that I watched 20 years ago, and it's stuck in my brain ever since. But in that interview, Genesis Peorage of the band Throbbing Gristle talked about an old myth legend that there was a secret coordination of. Yes, bless that DVD, says Soy Trees in the chat, and I do agree. But in that excerpt, Genesis P. was telling the story of this old myth, this old legend, that there was a secret combination of notes and chords that, if played, would open up a portal to a new dimension. And what Genesis would do is, every show that Throbbing Gristle would play, Genesis would make sure that there was a plugged-in violin ready and waiting, because you never know when the moment's going to strike, when you're going to try to play that secret combination. Maybe you're feeling in the moment and you're saying, you know what, in this moment, I could potentially play this unknown sequence of notes and unlock a portal to a new dimension. And in a similar vein, that's what I'm doing with my skateboard here. Since losing a lot of my eyesight, I can still see, but I lost a lot of my eyesight, and I really don't skateboard anymore because it would be too dangerous. But I do like the idea of keeping this skateboard. Oh my god, Cobra's just posted up. Keeping this skateboard ready and at the ready, I should have said, because one night I might just feel called to jump on the skateboard mid-show and skate off into the dark, and I feel like that would be a great moment. And I want that potential to always be there. So the skateboard will now be there for every show, just in case the inspiration strikes and that great finale to an episode and maybe to the show itself happens. But you know what it means when I say that Cobra is here. That means what we really have to do is get down to it and use the mirror to try to catch Cobra on camera. Okay, I'm seeing... Oh, I am so close. He is somewhere... Is that him? I think I captured him in the mirror. Wonderful. That is a blessing. Soy Teresa says, hi, Chopra. So, hello, Tim. He's staring at me right now because he hears me saying his name over and over. But, once again, I ramble. That has been known to happen on this show. And I really shouldn't. Some weeks, you know what? I'll break a little news here. Some weeks, I feel like our topic has not yielded enough fruitful information for us to discuss at length for a long time. And I do kind of try to fit in some goofing around up top, some making jokes and things like this, but tonight is not one of those nights. Tonight is a night where there is so much to get to that we can really dive straight into it. And I'm going to do that, but I do have to read what the chat says real quick. Baxter, hang on, let's play the Baxter sound drop. I mean, why have it if we don't play it? Let's see, I think this one is Baxter's.
Baxter. This is what I imagine it's like when they start their car.
Just like that.
It's Baxter.
I gotta remember to not start speaking before that long introduction of Baxter plays to completion. And hang on, I have to scroll back up. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, I can see you skateboarding. This is Baxter speaking. I can see you skateboarding the bike trail as the sun sets over the flumes. That's beautiful. And one night, we're going to have that as a finale to an episode. I can feel it. And that's a big reason we have the skateboard there to represent the potential of one day it's gonna blow my mind. It's gonna blow everybody's mind. But what really would blow everybody's mind is if I stopped messing around and began the show. So,
Start the. If I was in the chat, I would be saying, "Start the show."
I know you would.
Start the show.
Okay. Okay. And as always, we are doing boots off for Barrett. Barrett, the first man executed legally here in Carlsbad. He did not want to die with his boots on, and so we as well do not want to do this show with our boots on. Soy Teresa says, I agree with her. Oh, okay. I was wondering who's her, but Soy Teresa is agreeing with producer Nico. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Let's get into it. I said we're going to start the show, and gee whiz, we're going to do it. Right off the bat. Oh, and I'm telling you, the improvements we're making on this show are exponential. Look at this. I have the date of the story we're talking about big. I don't have to get up close to my monitor and squint to see it. We are talking about that lovely day we all know and love, the eve of Christmas Eve, December 23rd, 1998. Looks great, sounds great, says Soy Teresa. And I agree. It is almost something that I should be ashamed of, that it took me so long to realize that's the way to do it. But I'm not one to dwell on mistakes of the past. I am just here to say, you know what? We've found the way to do it, and let's move on. Okay, Carlsbad. A Carlsbad man has shattered the world record for spaghetti nose blowers after winning the Guinness Book of World Records competition. Right off the bat, I told you that Carlsbad was a place of champions, and I am honored to find out that we have the world's spaghetti nose blowing champion hails from here. I can't imagine any other city that could breed such excellence as that. Oh boy, here we go. Kevin Cole's newfound talent seems as hideous as it is hilarious, and he says he's prepared to face fame nose up and head on. The competition will air sometime within the next 90 days on Guinness World Records prime time, on the Fox television network. I remember when that show came out. I was absolutely thrilled, ecstatic. I could not wait to see World Records. I remember watching it. The first episode, I'm sure I tuned in. That's right up my alley. And I did, what's this, Kevin Cole? A little behind the scenes spoiler. I did try to find Kevin Cole, and because it would be an honor to have Kevin Cole, the spaghetti nose blowing world record setter, on this show, but to tell you the truth, Kevin Cole is a very, very common name. There are many people on Instagram and Facebook with that name, and I was not able to locate the actual champion within 2 minutes of researching. And at that point, I had moved on with my life to more fruitful things. Following the airing, he was told to expect phone calls and appearance requests from all over the world. See, that's a thing. If we were able to get the actual Kevin Cole on this show, I would love to ask him about what requests from all over the world he fielded. I can't imagine that it was a minimal amount. I did that one. Okay. Oh boy, this one's long. See, there's a mistake. I should have cut off that first line. I'm getting the production staff here at Caveman News is getting very good at preparing these things, but that's a little mistake. I should have cut off that fragment. And before he left Hollywood and KTLA Studios, he was approached by an agent with the LA Circus who asked if he would be interested in performing in Japan for 2 months during the coming summer. That rules. I have never blown spaghetti out of my nose, but I would do it in Japan for 2 months. Give me a couple of weeks, and I think I could. No offense to Kevin Cole, but I am a very resilient and studious person, so I can't imagine that that's not a skill that I could dedicate my entire exuberance to. And I just keep having to check. Here we go. How did this all come about? Cole explained he had watched spaghetti nose blower world record holder Matt Welch on the program and decided to challenge him. Now, there is a man after my own heart. He sees somebody performing a feat on TV and he says, "Bet I could." His capability, he said, came from his summers spent as a lifeguard and the ability to push water from his throat through his nose. I'm not exactly sure of the correlation there, but I've had some lifeguards in my family, and I'm still confident that I could. Plus, I did play saxophone for many years. I still would play it, but I can't remember what happened to it. I tend to abandon my possessions, but I really do want to get another saxophone. All that to say, I did experiment with some circular breathing and things like this. So, okay, Soy Teresa says, "Huh? Weird." And I wonder if she's referencing my abandoning of possessions. Hang on, I gotta push up my glasses. Hold on. It has to happen. Boom. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that seems like some circular breathing stuff. Baxter says, bet he was lifeguard at the Elks Club pool. No, the water thing, says Soy Teresa. Okay, I wasn't sure exactly what she was talking about, but I feel like I've been coaxed into it, and gosh, I got too many Elks pool stories to tell. I did love swimming at the Elks pool. It was a lot of fun. But when I think of stories about lifeguarding in Albuquerque, or lifeguarding in Carlsbad, the story that always comes to my mind first, that I'm sure I've rambled about on this show, is the summer when my grandpa was working at the pool in White City. Oh boy. Okay, I can remember now. And they were filming that movie, what is it, Journey to the Center of the Earth, down in the depths of the Carlsbad Caverns. And Pat Boone, I believe, was the actor in that movie. And he came to the pool when my grandpa was working there at White City. And my grandpa knew that my grandma was a big fan of Pat Boone's. I hope I'm remembering the actor right. I should have possibly looked this up beforehand, but he got an autograph of Pat Boone for my grandma because he knew that she would like that. And that's what I always think of when I think of lifeguarding stories in Carlsbad. Well, technically White City, but that's, I believe in my heart, that is a part of Carlsbad. The standing world record to beat was 3.5 inches of cooked noodle hanging from the end of the nostril. I would have at least gone 3 3/4. But that person is allowed to do theirs. Even his first attempt at home in front of a home video produced a world record breaking result, he said. Now that is some cool stuff. Not only did I break the record on TV on the Guinness Book of World Records TV show in front of everybody, I also did it on my first try at home filming myself. Now that's a true winner. That Kyle, oh boy, I just read the name. Cole. That can't be right. Kyle Cole? Whoever this person we're talking... Well, let's just see. Carlsbad man. Kevin Cole. Okay, I was going to say Kyle Cole is too easy of a name for it to be an actuality. But... yes, congratulations to Kyle Cole. True heart of a champion. Representing Carlsbad proud. Yeah. Okay. On December 16th, Cole was headed to Hollywood. In front of an audience of about 150 people, he waited his turn as Welch was given the first chance. Cole said Welch blew 5.5 inches of noodles to break his own record. Nervous but ready, Cole took his turn to blow. That is what a warrior does. You don't succumb to fear. You don't become intimidated. 5.5 inch. I mean, the record was 3.5, and this world record holder blew his own record out of his nose by 2 inches. My God, a lesser person would be intimidated, and maybe, somebody from a lesser town would maybe just throw in the towel before even blowing his nose, their nose, whoever's nose. But not here. Whoa, Cinderoni says, my brother Dominic can do that with noodles. And hold on, I gotta remember where I'm at. We do have Cindy, so...
Cindy, you honor us with your presence.
I love that. I love that. I love featuring Cindy's collage when she pops up in the chat. Oh, gosh, we have Brother Binks as well. Brother Binks says, Cindy, I've met your brother, and he's no Kevin Cole. And where am I? Okay. Binks.
What's that in the distance? Methinks it's Chief Strategist Binks.
Beautiful. Okay, now where was I? I got distracted with Cindy's... Cindy, tell your brother to go for the world record. That's ridiculous. A real nose for noodles. Local man sets the world record for spaghetti nose blowing. I wonder if there's... Again, I'm in the middle of discussing this, and all of a sudden I have questions that I should have looked up before we started, but I wonder if there are any other foods or substances that have world records associated with blowing them out their nose. Okay, Cinderoni says Dominic was born and bred in Carlsbad, so I believe that Dominic could set a new record. It's a new generation of Carlsbadians, and this is something I should have looked up beforehand. I hope Kevin Cole still holds the record, but if not, then maybe Dominic could reclaim the title for Carlsbad. There should be a plaque or something somewhere in town for this feat. Oof, here we go. I blew 7.5 inches to break the world record that had just been broken by him. He laughed. Boom. 7.5. Okay, so the record's 3.5. Then the record holder comes up and says, okay, I'll do 5.5. No. Kevin Cole, 7.5. Eat my shorts. Carlsbad forever. I don't even know where Matt Welch is from, but I am not impressed. And Baxter says, if you have the heart of a caveman, you can do anything. And I do agree. Soy Teresa says, I could see a brass statue in front of the library of a freestanding noodle coming out of a floating nose. I could see that as well. We make a lot of demands here on Caveman News, and of course, eventually, I do think that we are owed a key to the city, but if it takes a while to get keys to the city made, that statue that Soy Teresa just described, it'll settle the appetite for now until we get that key. And yeah, I agree, Cinderella. What a vision. It's sort of... Oh, wait. Okay. Because he shattered the record, he had to sign a contract stating that he would not make appearances or demonstrations of his talent until after 90 days from the airing of the program. That seems... I don't know, that seems strange to me. This man just set a world record that was only... He broke a world record that was only set minutes ago. Why handcuff him and not let his talent be free and deprive the world of this exceptional talent? It's kind of offensive. It's sort of a Guinness publicity issue, he said. I'm sure it sounds like they have an issue. Cole explained that it takes a special noodle, a Ronzoni number 8, to accomplish his feat. I mean, I probably could have done it with a Rosini 9. Maybe Soy Teresa says he was too powerful. And that's truly what it is. I think even... I'm a lifelong fan of Guinness and his Book of World Records, but I do think that Guinness fears the power of a Carlsbadian. The whole ordeal begins with boiling a noodle until it's soft. I'd imagine. I can't picture what it would be like to try to blow a hard noodle out of my nose. But, I've never tried, so I don't want to doubt myself. Perhaps Soy Teresa says, I hope Ronzoni made him a jersey. And they should have. That is great publicity for Ronzoni. He has that 90-day waiting period before he's allowed to publicly blow his nose of spaghetti in front of people. But maybe he could have, in that 90 days, gotten some endorsement deals with Ronzoni. I didn't even know... okay, hang on. I do see there that it's a Ronzoni number 8. that is capitalized. I was thinking Ronzoni was a type of noodle and not a brand. I was thinking it was a type of noodle like is fettuccine a noodle? I can't even finish that sentence. I am so ignorant when it comes to food stuff. But rotini, that's a noodle style and not a brand. I'm confident in that. From there, he said, the tongue is used to push the pasta toward the nasal passages. Then you just blow, he said. It's just like blowing your nose. I'm not sure that's how I blow my nose, but Kevin Cole, you're being too modest. That's a superhuman strength that you exhibited. What does his family and employer think about being connected with a celebrity of sorts? The reviews are a little mixed. Okay, I am interested in what his family thinks, but employer, I'm confident that this was an activity that was done off the clock. The employer doesn't get a say in somebody's entire life. Come on. His wife and his oldest daughter are thrilled. His siblings and employer, Westinghouse, are proud of him, and all are excited about his upcoming television debut. Cole's father is proud as he can be, Cole said. Wonderful. I am very happy that he was able to bring pride to his family, and he obviously brought a lot of pride to the entire town. Again, this was 1998. I'm sure I had to have read about this at the time, and I probably watched it live on TV, but I do not recall. I'm sure I was with the millions and millions watching and rooting him on for representing Carlsbad in such an honorable way. Not make appearances. I did that. I'm on the wrong page. Let's see. Why did he even try such a crazy stunt? He said he's always considered himself different, one who walks down a path of his own and stays in what he described as a silly mood. That is pretty silly, but there is a lot of solidarity. I think Caveman News, we here at Caveman News do consider ourselves different, and we walk down a different path. So, solidarity, Kevin Cole. Silly or serious, he has an opportunity to make a great deal of money in the near future. I hope Ronzoni? I have no idea. I'm going to have to buy some Ronzoni noodles, pasta, whatever it is they make, and try that out, because now I'm very curious. But I hope that this man came up. I hope that he did bank off of his extraordinary talent. Matt Welch, the guy that I took the world record from, told me he made $10,000 in 2 months, and he also appeared on Jay Leno, Cole said. That is... I can't even wrap my head around that. What? Okay, so in 2 months he made $10,000 off of blowing spaghetti out of his nose, and he did this all presumably while also under a 90-day no compete, no displaying your talent to the world type of situation. And yeah, wow, Matt Welch. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're no Carlsbadian. Cole, 24, admitted he's always been drawn to those who appear unusual or unique. I hope that's still true, and I hope Kevin Cole does come on Caveman News someday. Oop, we got a chat here. Cinderoni, I feel like there was more of a demand for that kind of entertainment back then. And I agree, Cindy, that's probably true, but there's no reason to abandon the old ways. I think that somebody should be honored for displaying a talent such as this. Still, even if it's, what is it? Gosh, math. 30 years later? Jeez Louise. Yeah, Soy Teresa says definitely pre 9/11 activities. And yeah, unfortunately, when those towers fell, so did some of our sense of silliness. While in Hollywood, he met a guy from Roswell who will also be on the show as one of 4 men who are into body piercing. Now that's another thing. I don't think that being into body piercing would be such a huge, wild draw as it was back then. And also, no offense to Roswell, but here in Carlsbad, we do actual talents like blowing spaghetti out of our noses, not just being into piercing. But let's hear more about this. As a team, they suspend their bodies from 10 large fishing hooks in their backs and raise their own bodies by a thin rope on a pulley. I might have seen this. This might have been the first time I saw somebody do a suspension by piercing. That could be. That sounds like something I would have been watching in the late 90s. However, the guy he really hit it off with, who will also appear on the show, is covered with one solid leopard tattoo from head to toe. Now, I imagine what the journalist, author of this column in the Current Argus meant is that he had a tattoo of leopard spots, but I do like imagining what it'd be like to have a full body, solid leopard tattoo. Just one huge body tattoo of a leopard. The head would be maybe on the forehead. The head of the leopard on the forehead of the human. And that's just the way I picture it. Everyone was really nice out there, he said. We, show contestants, all may dress different, but we had a lot in common. I'm going to make a little assumption here. Do you think Kevin Cole was wearing huge Jinkos? He was silly. He walked to the beat of his own drum down unknown paths. And yeah, Soy Teresa says she sure hopes so. And I will say this. Hang on, let me see if I can do this. I can't really. I was going to pull out my pockets. And that didn't really go with what I was going to say. I was going to say I'll bet every dollar I have on me that if not Kevin Cole was wearing Jinkos, some of the body piercing friends he met from Roswell absolutely were. That just... The Guinness World records show of the late 90s sounds like the central area to find Jinkos and Jinkos enthusiasts. Yeah. Okay, and I think I have one more here for this story. Oh, yeah. A picture of Kevin Cole. It's beautiful. There he is in all his glory. And I will admit, these old newspaper photos are hard to make out details in, even if I was 20/20 visioned. I would still struggle, but I like the ethereal quality. They're very mysterious, these photos. I love them. That is the noodle nose blowing man, Kevin Cole. And let's move on to our next story. This is the current August, April 10th, 1928. I love old stories, old history. The older the better. Some of the best stories that we've encountered here on Caveman News. I really need to figure out a way to hold my glasses up. I need like a strap or something like that. I get exhausted constantly pushing them up. But that's an improvement for another day. If you're not paying attention, we have greatly improved the show this week, especially much better than last week. Last week, when we had our audio and video syncing issues, it was horrendous. I did end up redoing the entire show days later because it was disgusting to witness. And next step is going to be to figure out how to get my glasses to stay on my face better because my hands are full as I do the show. Let's hear about this 1928 story. Attempt to break record. Miss Hazel Tinnen, former Carlsbad girl, in air flight at Midland Sunday, expected to beat record of 21,000 feet. And first, right off the bat, there's no such thing as a former Carlsbad girl. Once you're from here, your family forever. Miss Hazel Tinnen, former Carlsbad girl, she's a Carlsbad girl. You can move away and you're still a Carlsbad girl. Carlsbad girl and graduate of our public schools was in the limelight Sunday at Midland when she was a passenger in the de Havilland plane piloted by Boyd M. Shelton in an attempt to break the world's altitude record. And there's again, I just searched for a de Havilland airplane from the contemporary time. I think this model came out in 1925 or so. But again, I mean, the Wright brothers' flight was in, 1903? So airplane flight had only been around for about 20 years, so I can't imagine there were too many models. What she was flying in was probably very similar to this. Miss Tinnen expects to fly to an altitude of 21,000 feet, which will break the world's record for women by 3,000 feet, a French woman having flown 18,000 feet. I don't know why they would break it up into genders. Does it really make that big of a difference if you're a man or a woman or whatever you choose to identify as? Once you're up in a plane, I'm glad. I was going to say I'm glad we're beyond that and now we can just accept that Going way high up in a plane is an impressive feat no matter who you are. But you know what? We're still pretty backwards. Yeah, we did that one. The Midland girl, she's a Carlsbad girl, is a blue-eyed brunette, an athlete, and possessed of more than ordinary dramatic ability. I don't know exactly what they mean by that. Dramatic ability? I presume she was probably an actor of some sort. Tread the boards on the Carlsbad stage. I was going to say the Carlsbad High School stage, but maybe it was at the, what is that place? The Little Theater in Carlsbad, where I performed in the play Shenandoah with acting expert of Caveman News, Brando. We were both starring in that. Oh, this is Soy Teresa in the chat says, I support women's rights and women's heights. And quick aside, I did a little post on Blue Sky, and then I screenshotted it and put it in the Instagram stories for Caveman News, just talking about some of the things we're going to talk about on this episode. And I can't remember, but I looked at it later and I did do a mistake there. I meant to say highest, and I said heightest or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. I messed up, and I don't want. I do have the apology screen ready to go. I could. Nah. I don't need an apology screen. I will just apologize for my lack of attention to detail when typing advertisements for the show. Okay. She was a star player on the high school basketball team at Carlsbad, New Mexico for 4 years and was awarded a school ring there for her prowess on the team. I would love to see what that ring looked like. Much in the same way when we discussed the Miss Carlsbad contest and they talked about the winner receiving a pendant from the Miss America pageant. I would love to see it. I would love to see that pendant. I would love to see this ring. I'm not sure. Did they give out rings when I was going to high school here in Carlsbad? I don't know. I never saw anybody. And I was friends with some basketball players. Maybe they kept their rings hidden. Yeah, she was a star basketball player. We know. All right. She was selected by Pilot, capital P on Pilot. It's a title. It's of respect. Again, this is still very early in the history of flight. I don't think they capitalize Pilot anymore. Disrespectful. Pilot Shelton, from among several applicants to make the flight. Miss Tinnen has flown before and has no trepidation. Trepidation? That's a mistake, isn't it? The word isn't trepidation. That can't be right. Has no trepidation about going so far aloft. Again, that's the bravery of a Carlsbadian, the heart of a caveman champion. She says she expects someday to pilot her own plane even higher than 21,000 feet. Now that is a true cave person. What happened? Wait, hang on. Okay. Dr. W.E. Ryan and Mr. Tom C. Bobo found the young woman had a normal heart, which went a long way toward reconciling the girl's. What in the world? To her flight? Oh, reconciling the girl's mother to her flight. And I think I included that little clip because I really do love Dr. Tom C. Bobo. I have a doctor with a great name. Maybe I shouldn't completely dox my doctor, but she has a great name, my neurologist. And I do have to admit, having a doctor named Dr. Bobo, oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Okay, now let's hear about how her flight went, I believe is the next thing up. Yeah, this is April 17th, 1928, page 4. And again, this is page 4? You can't put this page 1? She is breaking records. Cinderoni says, Dr. Bobo can diagnose me any day. Absolutely. Altitude mark set for women. Again, now I'm having that thing I have a lot of times doing this show. I'm all of a sudden wondering something and realizing I should have looked this up beforehand. But what was the men's record at this time? Was it so much higher? Were they more well equipped for altitude? I don't know. Miss Hazel Tinnen soars to... Wait. And that's a capital S on soars? Soars to a height, capital H, of 19,600 feet at Midland, Texas, before the admiring gaze of 2,000 people. There should have been more. Have some respect. Miss Tinnen came down, waving greetings and smiling at the 2,000 people gathered at the Midland Airport to see her fly. I mean, what else are you going to do? This is Midland. It's Midland in the late 1920s. Maybe there weren't that many people in Midland at the time, but to all the people who were living in Midland in 1928, if you're watching this and you did not go to see Miss Hazel Tinnen's record-setting flight, shame on you. What are you doing with your life? She smashed the record of the champion Frenchwoman by 1,600 feet and broke the record of a Dallas woman by 2,600 feet. Absolutely. And I do find it appropriate that they don't name the French woman or the Dallas woman. And the reason is because they aren't champions. They are not world record setters. Well, anymore. The Midland girl, she's a Carlsbad girl. She's a Carlsbad woman. Declared her only sensation was one of slight sleepiness. She said she could have gone to the 21,000 feet planned if strong winds had not forced Monty down. Yeah, she could have taken it. I mean, she got a little bit sleepy. What, she takes a little nap high above the earth? Come on. She could have done it. Okay. Gosh, there's another one that I messed up. I should have cropped out the end of that sentence. The pretty blue-eyed brunette says she is now determined to become an aviatrix and hopes soon to be flying her own ship, which she will name the Spirit of Midland. Ugh. Tough name, but I do support her, and I hope that she did pilot her own craft. And again, anytime it comes up, I have to say, I love the name Aviatrix, the title Aviatrix. I don't feel like we use that enough anymore. And it's to our detriment as a society. I have one more story I believe we have time for. Oof. I don't know. We're at an hour. This last story is going to have to go on the shelf. I think that will do it for tonight. I thank everybody for watching, celebrating, and honoring the hearts of champions and world record setters that we have here in Carlsbad. I am sure there are many more that I have not heard about, but maybe we'll have to do a world records part 2 someday. Now, I should take out my card for the outro. Oh yeah. To end the show, we have to have our lyric of the week. And our lyric of the week comes from... oh boy. I know it's Joe Higgs. And the lyric is, I'm the song that my enemies sing. I'm bewildered all the time. Beautiful. I hope you all ruminate on that lyric for the rest of the week. I hope it carries you to new heights, new altitudes. And I also have written down that we should do the... See, I wish... what is going on? Okay. Jeez Louise. Oh, gosh. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting confused and distracted. That has been known to happen, and it's gonna happen again, and it will happen for the rest of all of our days, I am sure. But we need to invite a guest to be on this show. And this week, the invitation goes out to Rosalind Krauss. Krauss, I believe. Krauss. Great author. I've read only 2 of her books, but I really loved them, and I think about them all the time. And they shape my mental state. So, we got a first time chat. This one from Vulgar Conception WCPQSM. Best viewers on streamboo.com. Well, I disagree because I don't think Soy Teresa, Cinderoni, Baxter, and Binks are on streamboo.com. So, whatever. Now, the final thing for the night, we have to announce the agenda for next week. And I, at the start of the show, had a little had a little discussion with our representative here at Cave TV, the network, And I was told that I guess I didn't really read every line of the contract that we signed with Cave TV recently, but apparently they get to make some demands about what topics we cover on this show, which I'm not okay with, but we'll have to get a. We really need to find a legal expert for Caveman News. But anyway, the network has informed me that next week, episode 68 is going to be the best episode. And I'm not really sure how we're going to do that because I don't know. Network executives, are you guys watching this? There have been many great, spectacular shows. I'm not sure how we're going to do our best show next week, but tune in next week for the best episode. We're Dafu1312. If you're here next week, then I'll see you.
K-A-V-E-T-V